A fellow who was trapped 30 years back, his case is coming up today in the courts. I'm not blaming the vigilance organization for that. If that happens, by the time the case comes up in the court, all the witnesses have, basically they have forgiven the fellow. They might not even appear as witness, and if they come, they will even become hostile. No case is getting tried. And I must say that with great deal of anguish, we are not able to deal with that fellow because he gets all his promotion during the career and retires gracefully and also gets acquitted in due course. That's the system that we need to check. Now, on the matter of corruption, there are two areas which are particularly prone to corruption in government. One, public procurement. And the second, disposal or sale or of natural resources. Now, if we could bring out fundamental reforms in the way public procurement is done and the way public resources are, or natural resources are given or disposed of, I think we could see much more transparent and open conduct in the government. I think these are two areas somehow very little action is being taken. I think it's not just only something, and government perhaps is not under any kind of pressure to do something about it. So I think otherwise we'll see 3G, 2G, maybe 4G, because that's actually, what is spectrum? It's a natural resource. Now, spectrum was a classic case where in US, excellent knowledge resources utilized for auction of spectrum. I mean, Mr. Amar Patnaik perhaps would know that the fundamental precepts of game theory was used to auction this precious resource. In India, we just gave by a very discretionary process. What do you expect out of this? Thank you.
Thank you. Since I know Mr. Panchanganga would like to react to this, but since we are running short of time and maybe people would like to have questions, we could discuss some of this when the questions do come. So let's have questions from the audience. Can you please raise your hands and then I'll point out the persons who, in sequence, who could ask the questions. Get a mic over there, please. Please introduce yourself before asking the question. Please keep your questions short.
I am M.S.N. Murthy, retired as Senior Deputy Accountant General from the organization from Bangalore. Now I am acquainted with the Institute of Public Auditors of India. It is our President A.K. Singh is guiding me, and we are doing wonders also. Just our previous finance minister, he was speaking about the 2G scam, and there is no correlation between the figures which were reflected, and even today's paper also, even the CAG has to give an explanation that whatever the amount which was projected by the R.P. Singh, then Deputy Comptroller and Auditor General, who has finalized the report, is not correct, and I am correct. My officers have correctly pointed out, and he is standing that 172 crores of 2G scam is perfectly all right, no question of sir. If there is a difference of opinion between the two officers, how we audit people who will keep our prestige at this stage? Because for all the 4 months, last 4 months, hell of discussion was going on about the 2G scam. And as a matter of fact, even I was talking to
Mr. Murthy, can you please ask the question? Mr. Murthy, can you
formulate the question? UPA, the man who rocketed UPA on 11 July Outlook, a very big article has come, and they were praising the organization of CAG beautifully well.
Mr. Murthy, can you please make your question very short and pose it, because you are giving a speech now. Please give, because
my question is that, sir, sir, when this was pointed out in 11th July, in the next subsequent issue, probably one retired IAS officer who is affected by our audit has drastically...
Please ask the question. There's not a comment. Please ask what is the question.
No. What my is when there is a difference of opinion.
Okay, fine. I get that. Yeah, I get the question. What is I get it. What he is saying is that whenever you have these, there will be always a difference of opinion, not only on in this particular case about figures in the 2G, but in offices also you will have figures, the difference of opinion about between an undersecretary to deputy secretary to secretary, or maybe prime minister and his minister and all. So whenever these differences happen within organizations, as it has happened in this particular case, what should be the ultimate view that should be taken? This may of course be dependent on what view who wants to take, whether the PSC wants to take or the JPC wants to take or the people want to take.
To me, 2 plus 2, if you ask a scientist or a mathematician, he will speak the 4. If you ask a politician, he will ask you election, when the election is going to be held. Now tomorrow. Now then it is 5 or 6 or 7. But for one economist, if you ask the 2 plus 2, what is the result of 2 plus 2? He will immediately answer, it is 4 plus something. Because he wants some dividend, some interest, something. That is all the reply. But here, what happened here is 2 plus 2 like a politician. It is a hell and heaven difference. That is the whole, my question is this. That's why a CAG to correct it, the system, because the process is very clear. AG's process is very clear. Only thing is that there is no, today there is no delay in compliance also. The respondents also, they comply in time. But one thing is that if somebody hides the fact, if they do not give the facts in time, some accountability is to be fixed and that power should be given to the AG so that the person will be penalized for that. That's the whole point. By that way, we can correct the process.
Thank you. Anybody would like to?
I beg to differ from what Mr. Kanungo said. The Director General of Audit, Mr. Singh, was a signatory to the report. And he replied before the JPC, I did it under pressure. If he has so, he is not worth his salt. Another
Mr. Jain Das would like to speak, then I'll come.
Just taking the cue from Mr. Hota. The only authority recognized by the Constitution to make a report to the legislature is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. That is why Mr. R.P. Singh couldn't have signed a report and sent it. And therefore, it gets countersigned. Second thing is, even in the decision-making process, when a hierarchy is there and somebody is overruling, even overruling with impropriety, the process of decision-making is on record. So therefore, a judicial review is possible, an audit review is possible. If judicial review is a part of basic structure of the Constitution of India and can't even be touched by the Parliament through an amendment, CAG's role is also a basic structure of the Constitution of India as a system of public accountability. And public accountability is not sanction and voucher and competence. It is to see whether the purpose for which the legislature put the money into the process has been achieved or not, and in that, whether the procedures adopted, the system is proper or not. Now, while devising the system, answering a query that was partially raised by Mr. Patnaik himself, when I said that the CAG should be involved from the decision-making process, for example, devising a system, at that stage, why shouldn't the CAG be consulted? There is nothing wrong. Another, I have seen, I think in the good old days, a draft rule came to be vetted by the CAG or the CAG. Now that practice is gone. Why? I will tell you. Because you make acts which will bring in revenue. There are judgments of the Supreme Court which are reigning on this field. The Babu will use a catchword somewhere where I will appear in the court and get that entire act demolished. This is corporate money power. That's how it operates. Whereas if the CAG was to vet it, he would be aware of that judgment. He would then change that word and say, this is a foolproof document, it can't be challenged in court. Yeah. And finally, there should be a power of surcharge in the hands of the CAG by amendment of law as a very exceptional power, which the courts are doing it now. Now, courts are saying government compensate this much as a vicarious liability. Officers who have participated in the decision-making process recover it from their salary. That trend has started from Lucknow Development Authority case, Odisha State Bank case. So therefore, we have to now change the system also and tune it towards achieving that objective which the lawmakers may not like to achieve.